Okay, well, welcome back to Meat Market Minutes. I'm Justin Benavidez, and we've got economists from around the Southeast region who we're going to focus a little bit on the meat side. If you've seen some of our other videos, we tend to talk a lot about livestock markets amongst ourselves, and we just thought we'd get on and talk a little bit more about what's going on in the actual food product side. And so for this video, we've got David Anderson, who's going to talk to us about the beef market.
Hey gang, I drew beef this time for our Meat Market Minutes, and I'm glad to get a chance to talk about it a little bit. Let's just jump right in. I think if we were thinking about kind of an overview of what we see in the beef market anyways, we're talking about meat, is really we are still adjusting all the rippling effects of coronavirus through our economy, rolling back through packing plants to producers and rolling back the other way is still going on. And so much of what we see at the grocery store in terms of beef prices is still adjusting to that. And with that, time and timing is pretty important in what we see in prices. And I'll highlight a couple of things there. And keep in mind too, we're still in this process of restaurants coming back and how they get opened, how consumers respond and go to restaurants. How does that come back is really a pretty big important question for beef pricing and beef markets over the next coming months, well into 2021. So, I thought what we'd do is talk a little bit about kind of broad picture retail and wholesale beef prices, particularly because I've been getting some phone calls lately from reporters from broader media wanting to talk about what are consumers seeing and also what they're seeing at their grocery store. So if we take a look at retail beef prices as reported by the Bureau of Labor Statistics and USDA, it's really a monthly average beef price. The data is gathered in the second week of the month at grocery stores. It's actually the sticker price. You might notice too that if you dig into the data a little bit, it does not typically include specials, sale prices, coupons, your first of the month sale paper, and also customer loyalty cards. And so it's a broad kind of sticker price level data of what we see at retail. And I think there's a couple of points worth pointing out here. In terms of this data, it's choice quality beef. We've actually seen prices begin to come down, and here we are on 9/11 of 2020. The next month's data should be coming out any day now, and we'll have a little bit more, but my expectation is we'll continue to see some falling retail beef prices. You'll also notice that prices remain higher than they were last year. I think that's really a function of this representing grocery store prices. And as we think about grocery stores, we still have higher grocery store sales than we did a year ago because so many of us consumers aren't going to restaurants, we're going to the store. So we're moving relatively more beef through that kind of outlet. I think that's keeping prices higher than they were a year ago. I think it also reflects a timing issue of how fast do prices at retail reflect changes at the wholesale level. If we were to look at the other retail beef price reported, it's what's called the All Fresh series, which represents all qualities and cuts of fresh beef. It's also coming down, but again remains well above a year ago. And we might think about this when you go to the grocery store and look around. I think you might see some prices falling. We've also finally seen some retail featuring going on at grocery stores. Yet prices, we probably don't think of them being particularly low yet in some cases, particularly for ground beef, but they're coming down from where they were. So, some progress on that front. Very quickly, the box beef cutout value, a choice beef. We can think about this as wholesale beef values. And if we look at the wholesale market, it's pretty obvious to see the run-up that happened as plants closed and the grocery store stampede happened. But we've got prices pretty much back where we were a year ago, a little higher than the 5-year average. And so we're really watching for, at the retail level, as those prices come down, reflecting more of what we see in the wholesale market. If we think about supplies going forward, just quickly, I thought I would point out, if we look at the quality of USDA quality of beef we're producing, our beef that's grading choice is running well above a year ago. About 73.5% of the beef that we're producing is grading choice. Given that we're much of our production capacity is back, our packing plant capacity is back, that implies we've got even larger supplies of choice and prime. If I had included a chart of prime, we've got more supplies of higher grading beef out there on the market, and I think that'll play into some more specials and featuring and some lower retail prices as well. So it's a good time to see a lot of high quality beef at our beef case. I tell you what, I like to show a picture of something I've done lately. This is a brisket I pulled off the smoker last weekend. This happened to be, if you're interested, this is a choice, USDA choice quality brisket. It's been about, oh my gosh, longer than I want to talk about. It's been about 14 hours on the smoker to get it to a temperature at, about 225 up to a temperature of about 200. This is when I pulled it off the smoker, and it's making me hungry for some leftovers thinking about it just now. So as we think about beef markets going forward, we've actually had some specials and featuring on briskets at our local markets. So I think we'll see some more good deals on beef as time goes on. And if you're really into barbecue and you want to see the smoke ring, this one had a pretty nice smoke ring on it too. So I guess that for some of us, that's the money shot of our beef market minute anyway, to really see what's going on in those markets, and some of us practicing what we talk about for good or bad. And with that, that's it.
All right. Does anybody have any questions on the beef side? Charlie, you got a brisket question?
No, but I did have a question about. I think you mentioned the featuring on the retail side. Here, I've seen some specials, especially on like ribeyes and certain types of steaks. Would we expect for that to last longer this time than normal, just because we have an increased supply happening now, or is how long can these specials hang around?
I think it's an interesting question. We just went through, so we're a week past Labor Day, and we really had, I think, a lot of beef purchases to go into specials for Labor Day. And a lot of the indications are, early on, is that sales were pretty brisk. Sales were quite good. And I think we saw some Labor Day featuring. As we look particularly at steaks, there's a seasonal pattern to different cuts. You see New York strips at some of those summer holidays, and you see that very strongly in some of the wholesale price data. Ribeyes, for instance, have a little different pattern to them. They particularly increase going into fall, going into holiday, our Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year holiday. I think if you if you see the catalogs from places like Omaha Steaks, where people are looking for something special at the holidays, or they're buying gifts for someone, or you're thinking about you're going to do a prime rib or a standing rib roast beef as an alternative to kind of, your traditional turkey or whatever. I think we certainly see those cuts build in terms of wholesale value as we head late into the year. So I think that gets at some of that featuring aspect. I think depending on how successful stores featuring were with this holiday, we're sort of run out of holidays. Our summer holidays are over, but the supplies may be there, and some falling wholesale prices to maybe spur some more featuring going on the rest of the year, depending on different stores' strategies and their different customer base that they have going into those stores.
Good deal. That's about all the time we've got. So thank you for joining us, and catch our other videos. Thank you, David. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.